We are a few days away from Backlash, the first PLE after WrestleMania. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Off the Mat. Sorry we're late. Some technical difficulties. Things had to get switched around last second, and hopefully we can get them figured out for Saturday. Because Saturday we're bringing back our watch party, and you can watch WWE Backlash with me, Sticks, and Dom Saturday night. So
looking forward to that. Looking forward to that.
Even though the lineup is still up in the air on what we're going to be getting at Backlash. We know a few matches.
Got 5 matches so far.
5. Well, how many more? Like 2 more or 1 more? What do you think?
Well, we still don't know. Raw on Monday. Well, let me just preface by saying, so tonight we're just doing our Backlash prediction show. We're not going to do our reviews of SmackDown, Raw, and NXT this week. We're just going to talk strictly. I want to open the show talking about the releases. I feel like we need to do that, but we're just going to talk about our match predictions for Backlash. But where was I going with this? Matches. So as Raw went off the air, Logan Paul attacked Jey Uso.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But we still don't have a Jey Uso Logan Paul match on the card. So that leads me to believe that, like you said last week, I think that's probably going to be saved for Saturday Night Main Event.
Yeah. But you know, the crazy thing is that there was a couple of things that actually happened after Raw went off the air. You know, the Logan Paul thing, you had that, but you also had Roman Reigns came out and attacked Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker in the back after CM Punk came out in the front. So you had that happened, which is kind of
Roman Reigns attacked Seth in the back while CM Punk came in the front.
Yeah. No, but so all this was after Raw went off.
Raw dogging it.
Yes, you could actually predict that Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman are getting a third member very soon. Because Sami Zayn is now, so it's going to be Sami Zayn, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns.
You know, it was weird because I did see someone saying that Sami Zayn was going to end up being that third person, but I just don't see it. After what we had the other day, I just don't see it.
But the funny thing is that, stranger things have happened. You know that they do.
I know that. I know that.
It could turn out that Sami Zayn definitely backstabs Roman Reigns and CM Punk. That could definitely happen. But come on, man, where's the love for Ethan Page? Give me goddamn Ethan Page already. Thinking people, man. Now, actually, all kidding aside, Raw was pretty damn good. Roxanne Perez shot a great promo, and she's getting better. Yeah. So now she's on the main roster now for good. They say that she's on the main roster, but that kind of speculates. So Julia lost in NXT. Jordan Grace dropped her in her head. Dropped her in her head. That was fucking.
Yeah, she did. Well, yeah, back of her neck. Yeah,
back of her head. But do you think that Julia is now going to be part of the main roster? I don't know, because she's showing up back and forth. So I can still see the Io Sky Ripley, Rhea Ripley tag team versus Roxanne Perez and Julia.
I feel like they're kind of trying to keep the threads of them going while one is going up and one's probably going to stay down, and then that's going to end up with a split. And one will go one way.
I don't like heel Julia.
Because nobody does. I don't think
Julia has I don't like the her hair. I like her hair when it was out, when she's good Julia, and I like her hair flowing. I don't like her hair.
What do they call it?
Yeah.
What do they call that hair when it's all knotted up like that?
Well, no, she's got the dread type of things, but not that I don't like dread. I'm just saying the fact is that I like her hair.
Dreads.
Yeah, I like her hair just right down, just nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, absolutely.
But I do like heel Julia. I like the mean streak in her, but the whole fact is that I just don't like. I like her regular getup when she's good, not the jeans and the type of I like her outfit when she did.
I don't like Roxanne Perez, and I like her even less now that she's on the main roster. I just
and Roxanne Perez, we thought that she was that was a great match though between her and freaking Io. That match was back and forth.
I don't know, man. She looked outclassed. I think it felt like Io had to slow down for her at points. It looked like Io should have just dog walked her.
I love Io.
Yeah, there was a lot more taunting from Io because it felt like Io had to slow down at points. I just feel like Io should have come out there and dog walked her the way that Roxanne Perez was shown up. And I think she needs to learn quickly that this isn't NXT anymore. And
I know. And I
gotta step up your game. Gotta step up your game. I mean,
but she's getting top matches. She's just started. She's getting all these top matches. The Royal Rumble. The second. So she's getting all these things thrown at her already. And I don't know if in the past when somebody came up that they gave them opportunities like this in the beginning. Oh. I don't think they've done this, but recently more in the Triple H era that you're you get up the main roster and all of a sudden boom, you're in top matches already.
We're getting more of a trial by fire with them because you're throwing them right into the heat. Before we would kind of ease them in. Remember when Rhea Ripley came up? She was like an enforcer for a while, and then she worked into where she was going to be in Judgment Day. And then,
no, she worked in the tag team with Liv, and then she betrayed Liv, and she all these things. So everybody's going to try to fight, but it seems like that Roxanne Perez is getting pushed into the big overall picture.
Yeah.
So you're going to have it definitely is going to be Julia Roxanne Perez versus
look at Stephanie Valkyria and how good she did on the main roster.
Yeah.
And her first couple matches there, and especially her match against Io.
But I think she had to slow down.
Roxanne.
Io couldn't keep up with her because she's that good. So it was vice versa. But look, she's going to lose the belt to Jordynne Grace. And I think that she is going to come up. Matt, you predicted the whole thing with Julia and stuff like that. And it seems like Julia is getting the push to come up. Why have her stay down in NXT? Because she actually is a professional now. No, she has her skills, and she could work on the main roster. Like the same thing like with Stephanie, she wanted to learn English. It's the only reason why she did not go in the main roster to begin with. And now she's getting better on the mic. She's getting better with her English. And, bring her up the main roster, man. There's a lot of good matches that you can – because now you're getting all these El Conquistadors and all these luchador, the luchadors and stuff like that coming up. You can have part of all these groups, man. So I can see big things.
I don't know how much Lucha is going to cross over into WWE, but maybe initially.
Alberto Del Rio signed back, but not with WWE, but he signed up with the Triple. But it's kind of funny. You see what the Valkyria said? Freaking
I don't want to be near him.
Yeah, she hates him.
Don't put me in a room with him.
Exactly, she hates him.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, like I said, he was an asshole when he was in the hotel when he was with Paige, and they stayed in the hotel, and he thought he was fucking. He wanted to screw everybody, and I said, "Please do, man. Please do. Come on."
Well, speaking of predictions, last week before Dom jumped on, I asked Sticks, "Do you foresee WWE releases coming? We're in that season. Something feels off here."
Yep.
Not 24 hours. Well, I shouldn't say that because we recorded on a Wednesday last week. So not 48 hours after I asked that question, right before SmackDown goes on the air.
And what happened?
We get inundated with WWE releases. Mm-hmm. And I've seen all week of people crying online. Why did so-and-so get released? I can't believe so-and-so got released. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. Well, as we go through these releases, I think we could be a pretty good judge of why these talents got released. There were some surprising ones.
There's a couple.
But then there's some that are surprising that they're still on WWE.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
So, we got Shayna Baszler. I'm not surprised by that one. She just never really got off the ground when she got brought up to the main roster.
And also the comment she made about Liv.
that had something to do with it?
Yeah. Well, I think her saying stuff because she was just I think it was hard Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley she said things about Rhea Ripley too, that this is wrestling, this is not a OnlyFans type of thing, and she made some kind of comments about that. But hey, look,
yeah, she did.
Well, the whole fact is that I'm sorry, Shayna Baszler. You may have been the ace of spades and freaking the UFC and all this stuff like that, but guess what? You're not as good looking as freaking Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Plain and simple. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're jealous because the way they look, but
yeah.
Go to AEW. Go AEW. You fit perfectly over there.
Do that.
How does she get released, but Zoe Stark doesn't?
That's the other question, because she doesn't get Zoe Stark doesn't get paid that much, because the whole thing there's a couple of wrestlers that were getting paid way too much money.
Yeah, I think Wade definitely had.
And is Zoe Stark injured, or are they just not using her?
Yeah. I think they're just not using her.
Yeah,
which makes even less sense.
Well, you know what? And she I think as the three of them, freaking Sonya Deville, freaking Baszler and her, I think she.
I would have kept Baszler.
More talent. I think she has more talent than those two, so I think they're keeping her for maybe future. I don't know. It's just a weird how they release people.
So,
and
for Baszler, I think kind of what made her lose credit was when Rousey left, and they really didn't have anyone in that caliber to kind of push her up against, because Rousey was the UFC. She was UFC, and that's why she came in.
The one to retire Ronda Rousey. They had enough faith in her to be the one that retires Ronda Rousey. So
who else were you going to use? Who else were you going to use?
I think her words. I think her words, and I think that a lot of people, she rubbed people the wrong way in the back. And they just said, you know what, we're going to have to. Sorry, pay cuts.
Then we had Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai was kind of surprising, and I think out of everyone that was released, Dakota Kai is the one that'll end up on her feet and either go to New Japan, maybe AEW, maybe TNA. Hers 100% has to be injury prone, because she's injury prone. She was given a lot of time. She was given pushes. She had damage control. She never really got that real singles push, which they were kind of doing that with her in the Intercontinental Championship stuff. But
and she got hurt both times.
Yeah, she got hurt with concussion. So I think hers is clearly the fact that how injury prone she is, that you're not getting.
I think she might have to freaking retire from wrestling, because I don't think that.
I don't think she's retiring from wrestling.
But maybe more management type of thing. Maybe more, like maybe being a leader, not wrestle as much. I feel bad for her, because she has a talent. It's just.
I don't think so. Mark my words. She's the next Cody Rhodes. She's the next Matt Cardona. She's gonna go out of the indies.
So then you're giving her those props. You know why? Because I know you love her. That's why.
But still, I think she's super talented. She's gonna go out in the indies. She's gonna make a name for herself as King Coda or whatever she wants to call herself. She's gonna absolutely kill it, and she'll be back. I honestly could see her back in WWE by WrestleMania next year.
But look, okay, aside, some of these people who got released, I guarantee a good third of them will be re-signed. When time comes. Actually, there's one of the releases that they said that there's a door is open for his return. So we'll see.
Then you had Braun Strowman.
That's
not
the one.
Surprise there. I mean, Strowman, it seems like he's had health issues. It kind of seems like he's lost a step. He used to have that higher gear where he would run around the ring and go full speed and run into dudes, and he doesn't.
Paralyzed in the leg. He was paralyzed. 15% of his leg was paralyzed, and he was still putting on a show.
Yeah, it just, like I said, it seemed like he just lost the gear. Katana Chance and Caden Carter. Officially, WWE has no women's tag team division now.
You see, and that's the thing. I don't understand. They released women that are actually tag.
They released the only legitimate tag team in their women's tag team division.
I know. They put it together. Two mismatched people to try to be a tag team. I wasn't surprised with that, but I was, I kind of like said, yeah, you know what? they misused them. They were great when they first came up. They used them for a little bit, and that was it. But that sucks because they use a tag team, and then all of a sudden they just push them aside. And meanwhile, you all these tag teams. That's why tag team divisions in WWE really, because they don't know how to use it. They misuse them all the time.
And then we had Gigi Dolan. I was a little bit, not surprised by that one. She's probably going to go to NXT, or not NXT, but AEW, I think it is a TNA, where her husband or boyfriend or whatever is.
Isn't there any chick on the main roster or in the thing that don't have a boyfriend that's single that's actually looking for a regular dude like us?
Bailey. Eddie Thorpe got released.
Shotzi.
Shotzi's technically not released. They're just not renewing her contract.
Yeah, they didn't renew her contract. So she can go. Yeah.
Wolfgang, Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, Cora Jade never really got off the ground.
She was hurt too.
Well, she was homegrown in NXT. She's been in NXT for what, like 3, 4, maybe 5 years.
And then she got the knee. She wound up getting that knee surgery out for a while.
She never really got off the ground. She got her boob job.
That was awesome.
But apparently she's retiring from pro wrestling and just going to do OnlyFans now. She's already committed to starting her OnlyFans, so she's going to go the route of Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose makes more money in OnlyFans than she did in wrestling.
She does. Riley Osborne, Jakara Jackson, and I feel like I'm missing two. Javier Barnell.
Yes.
And I feel like there's one more that I'm missing.
I think there is one more. But the main thing is that you knew these cuts were coming. And that's the sad thing, because every time they have these new people that are coming up, they have these new bringing people on the main roster.
Feel it in the air that the way they were handling talent and the way I don't know, something about after Mania, the way things were kind of going, you felt cuts coming. And that's why I asked Sticks last week, hey, man, do you feel like the WWE is about getting ready to future endeavor some people? And who would have known that 48 hours later, here we are.
Yeah. But the other person that Tino Sabatelli?
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have him on my list. But I was like genuinely surprised that like someone like Dakota Kai gets cut. But and Shayna Baszler, but Zoe Stark still has a job. Zoe Stark's still employed there, and it's like you got to make room. I understand you got to make room for all these talents, and they've got new talent coming in NXT, and you got to make room for your developmental people and LFG moving up and evolve, and you let go, you trim the fat, you let go of people who just aren't working out. But I mean, I'm surprised by Shayna Baszler, but then again, I'm not surprised by Shayna Baszler. And the same with a lot of these talents. Like, if you really sit down and think about it, like, if you looked at social media on Friday, this is all going down. People are freaking out. I can't believe Dakota Kai. Oh my God, my queen. Dude, like, I like Dakota Kai too. And if you like her, go out there and support her. Buy a t-shirt, buy a pay-per-view for wherever she goes. Things like that. Don't just sit here and go, oh my God, I can't believe this, for shock value, and then 2 weeks later completely forget about her.
Right. This has nothing to do with the releases and that, but do you know Karrion Kross, his merchandise is number 3 behind Cody Rhodes and freaking goddamn Jey Uso?
People are saying he might get released in the next.
No, apparently they're talking about that he's up for a big push. I hope he doesn't get released, because he's the devil, man. I want him to stay as the devil on both shoulders. Playing both sides of the spectrum. I could see him coming out and attacking Logan Paul against Jay. Or make it Jay, because he can play. He's a good guy. He's a bad guy. That's why I like Karrion Kross's character. I think they have something there, and I don't think they should. If they plan to release him, that'd be freaking a slap in the face, man. He's been good. So. Mm-hmm. Look, I think before was it the SummerSlam or freaking what's the Survivor Series? I know they have another group of releases coming. They always have like 2 waves of releases. So that's sad because somebody you might be in the next wave.
Right.
Well, and like I said, it's not the end of the road for them. If you really sit down and think about it, and you get past the initial shock of other releases, it's the writing's on the wall of why they were released, and they're gonna. Like I said, I think Dakota Kai is gonna go do great things. I think she's the next one to leave WWE, go make a name for herself, and come back better than ever. And I wish her and everyone else that got released the best of luck. But I was like, oh man, I should make a video about it. We should put a video out about it. But then I was like, I don't want to sit here and overreact like some of these people that I'm seeing on like TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Live are doing, just because
people get the clicks. That's why they overreact.
Yeah, it happens all the time. This is nothing new, but
right.
All right, let's talk Backlash.
Let's do it.
It feels like WWE pay-per-views, WrestleMania was what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden we're rolling in heavy to Backlash. And right off this, we're gonna spin out of Backlash into Saturday night's main event. So, Sticks, we got a Backlash game this week. Take it away. Fill us in on the Backlash game for Saturday.
So, the Backlash game is gonna be pretty much like the WrestleMania ones was. 10 points per match, winner called, pinfall or other. 10 points per any extra call, interference, etc. And that includes if anyone comes out from the back and takes over a match. I guess they're done, which I think you're going to talk about later. So there you go. That's same point system as the last PLE. Nothing real different. I don't think the 4-way I think that's just a 1 pin, right?
Yeah, fatal 4-way is just a 1 pin.
Yep, just 1 pin. So there you go.
Listen, so we still definitely have 1 or 2 more matches that have to be. Hey, Terry.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like last week. I mean, even into Saturday, we had a change with the card with Becky.
What's up, Terry?
Bumping Bailey for that spot. So I guess we'll see.
That will definitely, you're right. But I think they want to give the belt to Becky. They want the belt on Becky. That's the thing. So I could see. I can't see Bailey becoming bad again because she was bad that whole time. But but if interference,
if Becky was the one that took her out.
So Becky, she did take her out. That's the whole thing.
She said she says she did. She says she did. We never really saw that.
But you didn't see it. But I think that friggin' that Bailey definitely will be involved in this match, one way or the other.
I have a feeling she will. I have a feeling that she'll cause Becky the match, and Lyra is going to win.
Or I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying, I think the opposite. I think Becky wins this match. Yep. They want this belt on Becky right now. Yep. And they're trying to solidify this Intercontinental Championship. They love Lyra. They want to give Lyra a big push. Lyra's set for big things. But I think they're going to put this belt on Becky. And then they're going to, I think Becky pins Lyra, beats Lyra. And at the end of the match, that's when Bailey comes back.
Bailey comes out.
When Becky's celebrating, that's when Bailey comes back.
And then it's going to be Saturday Night Main Event, Becky Lynch versus Bailey.
Oh, you think they're going to do it that quick? I think.
Well, that's that quick turnaround.
Yeah, I think Becky versus Bailey has a build to go to Money in the Bank. Yeah,
maybe. No, you're right. That's true. You're right. You're going to get the secondary matches for Saturday Night Main Event, but you're right. All right.
You'll probably get a tag team match for one of the tag team titles on Main Event. You might get a John Cena match.
Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker versus CM Punk, and in Roman Reigns.
So if you give Becky the belt, do you try and push Lyra back in with Bayley as a tag team?
No.
Or is that played out?
I think that I think Lyra's going to take a back seat for a little bit. I could see Lyra even being in the world title picture. Says, does Becky Lynch really need the IC title? Blame Triple H for not making the IC title feel important.
True.
True. They're going to give Becky, they don't call her Becky Hogan for no reason. And right now, we're in a situation, and I love Becky Lynch, but we're in a situation where Becky Lynch is pretty much going to get whatever she wants because she's one of the top women's wrestlers. She sells. So the only thing she doesn't have on her career right now to keep her going is she's already main event. She was the first woman to main event WrestleMania. She's already been a double champion. She's held both women's championships at one time. Becky 2 belts. She's already been a tag team champion. The only belt she hasn't had is the Intercontinental Championship and the Women's United States Championship. And why wouldn't they give her this? What else is she going to go after? I think her having this belt makes things more interesting. Lyra has been a workhorse, yes, but she hasn't really had that storyline yet. And I don't know if it's maybe they're just not as, keen on her mic work yet. And they feel like she could have she could develop a little bit more. And her and Becky having this feud and potentially she wins Money in the Bank, or maybe there's a 3-way match or a triple threat match for the belt at Money in the Bank, but you gotta somehow insert and drive Bayley back into this match. And I think Bayley versus Lyra, or Becky beating Lyra here, and then Bayley coming back and having Bayley and Becky feud, it makes sense.
The BB feud, it does make lots of sense. So I can see that happening. I definitely see Lyra did a great job. She became the first Intercontinental Championship. She won it. Her name is on the map on the thing of the first woman. So now you give it to Becky. Becky makes it even a bigger title because she'll have a little run with it and hold the belt for a while until at least Money in the Bank. Because when Money in the Bank comes, you could actually put the Money in the Bank in for any belt now. What they said. But why would you want to put it in for the Intercontinental Championship when you get the championship? So that type is kind of funny. But there should be a couple of you don't know what contract you got to get type of thing, where you don't know if it's the Intercontinental Championship, the U.S. Championship, or the SmackDown or Raw Championships. You grab the Money in the Bank and it's whatever is written on that. So they should do something like that, change it up a little bit, make it a little different. But it makes a lot of sense for Becky to have the belt.
And I think to bring her back at Mania, just to have this heel turn, because that's the whole reason they're playing this Bayley takeout angle, is to make Becky in this scene to where Becky can get this belt off of Lyra, because they didn't trust Bayley to be the heel in this. They didn't feel that Bayley could pull as much heat as a heel as Becky can. So that's why they put Becky here. Becky's winning this belt. It's pretty much written on the wall that Becky's going to win.
She's going to win it. She's going to win it. Bayley's going to come out, and it's going to start the feud until Money in the Bank. You'll get the Money in the Bank wins. Yep.
Okay, makes sense. I don't mind seeing Becky versus Bayley rivalry storyline. Will be intriguing. Yeah, exactly.
It should be. So we'll see what happens, because now it's the shoe. It's a reverse. Bayley was jumping Becky all the time, which was part of damage control. Now it's Becky being the heel, and so see what happens. Should be interesting.
And I mean, really, let's be brutally honest here. Brutally honest. Tell me what Lyra has done with this belt since she's had it. She feuded with Dakota Kai, released. She had 2 matches with Ivory Nile. What else? She's not they're not building stars with this belt the way they do the Intercontinental Championship and the men's on the men's side. That belt is your gateway to the world title. You You win the Intercontinental Championship before you get your push to the WWE Championship.
Maybe they give her now. She loses, takes some time, comes back in a major storyline for the women's championship, though. Something like that. Put her in there to give her more. Get that, because I think that after this feud is over, I think she goes her own thing, and it's going to be Bayley and Becky. That's going to be moving forward for the next couple of months.
I would kind of argue that she didn't really have anyone to feud with, because everyone had their own storyline already, and then the few that didn't were either already on the chopping block or weren't wrestling at the time.
What do you mean? Like Maxine Dupree, Natalia
hasn't been wrestling for the last 4 months.
She just wrestled the WrestleMania weekend in Bloodsport.
Yeah.
She's on the roster.
They're
just not putting her. I know, but they're just not putting her on TV.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, they're just not putting her on TV. Yeah, correct. So I don't know. I think with not Bayley, but with Becky coming in, it actually gives her someone to feud with. That's a good caliber to try and maybe push her talent a little bit.
All right.
Now,
so
does she keep the belt? Maybe not. And you can still have the feud, without the belt. But
I mean, you got Candice LeRae. Like, she could benefit from that title.
Yeah.
Who else? What other women are on Raw?
Well, you have Liv and you have Rodriguez. You have them. That the tag team champions right now, but eventually they're gonna lose it. Isn't Bianca Belair?
She's SmackDown.
SmackDown. She was more in Raw, yeah, because she's SmackDown. Who else?
Michin SmackDown too. I'm trying to.
Well, now you have Roxanne Perez. Now you have Roxanne Perez that's coming up, and you might have Julia, and you do have Rhea.
Yeah, you would have had Roxanne Perez go right after her for that title. But instead you got Roxanne Perez fighting Io Sky. You were automatically pushing her into the main title picture.
Yeah.
You got any number, Julia, Stephanie, like there's competition there. Like Zoe Stark's not, like I said earlier, Zoe Stark's not doing anything. They took the belt off of Chelsea Green and gave it to Zelina Vega. So now it just automatically tells me that they're probably going to have Lyra drop this belt too. Natalia does not want to be on the level of Becky, Bayley, Charlotte. She just wants to collect a paycheck. I don't think that's true. I just think that she's older and she's been doing it for a lot longer than them. And she was there first. And WWE's never really given Natalia that push that she deserves.
Right. Well, right, so here's the real quick. Here's who they have on the roster for Raw. Asuka. She's injured.
Asuka.
Sorry. Bayley. Becky Lynch. She's the announcer. Julia. Ivy Nile.
Julia is part of the main roster now. She's in the lineup.
She's in the lineup. She's on the Raw roster.
You see, she's in the roster. That means she got called up.
Ivy Nile, Io Sky, and then she's let's see here.
It's very surprising.
Carrie Sane, Kiana James.
She's coming back.
Kiana James, Liv Morgan, Lyra Valkyria, Maxine Dupree, Natalia, Rhea.
Stephanie's in the Raw lineup too.
Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez.
I think they're going to put all those women in.
Scarlett? I don't know who Scarlett is.
But the
Scarlett is Karrion Kross's wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Stephanie Vicker and
Graff is coming back.
Sticks, you're doing this show and you really just said, I don't know who Scarlett is.
How do you not know who Scarlett?
I didn't. She did from the picture. I couldn't tell who it was.
All right, Sticks, you're gone. Sticks is fired. Sticks is fired. We're looking for a third co-host because Sticks has been fired for not knowing who Scarlett is.
But
Come on, Sticks.
that's really surprising that she's on the main roster. Like I said, Stephanie will probably go to SmackDown because they're not going to have both girls on the same
dude.
I would love to.
Take a good look at what Sticks just read off.
Yeah.
The Raw roster injured, Raw roster. Asuka injured. Bailey not on TV. Becky, okay. Then they have Kathy Kelly, announcer or backstage announcer. I think she's going to do some wrestling here and there, but she's backstage. Alicia Tyler, ring announcer. They got Julia, in-ring talent. Ivy Nile, in-ring talent. Kairi Sane, injured. Kiana James, injured. Liv Morgan, gone for a movie, but a champion. Lyra Valkyria, Maxine Dupree, Natalia, Roxanne Perez now, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, Scarlett, Stephanie, and Zoe. There's not a whole lot of women's talent.
So Stephanie's on the main roster now?
Stephanie is billed as both NXT. What I'm looking at right now, Roxanne is billed as both NXT and Raw. Stephanie's billed as NXT and Raw, and Julia is billed as NXT and Raw.
Yeah, they have Stephanie Vacour on the Raw roster with the NXT Championship.
Terry, you're not wrong about that, but there's a few others. I can tell you that.
And just like there's not a whole lot.
You sound really, right.
There's not a whole lot to build with this.
And the draft is coming back because they're talking about bringing up a couple of candidates in Cora J. Not Cora J. What's her name? Friggin' Trick Williams and what's her name? She was UFC too. She was a UFC fighter, and then she does the. She's always doing the twerking on NXT. What's her name? Can't think of her name. You know who I'm talking about. She's definitely got one of the best derrieres in friggin'.
Are you talking about Lola Vice?
Yes, Lola Vice. There you go. Thank you. So they're saying that they're getting called up. They're getting called up. So the draft is happening, but it's happening probably by the end of the month. They're gonna probably do it. So we'll see, man. We'll see if they deplete NXT and take out all the top talent at NXT and put them in the main rosters.
So Matt, you had Becky winning.
Yeah, I got Becky winning.
With interference after the match?
No, yeah, interference after the match.
What did you say, Dan?
No, interference. No, Becky winning. Definitely winning. With Bailey coming out at the end.
Ooh, there's a hot take. Shawn Michaels ruins Julia's booking and momentum and doesn't know how to use her correctly. She doesn't feel the top star in the women's division. She could have been the next Asuka of this era. I think she still can, and I think she was booked well. And it all started around the time, what would you say, Roadblock? Yeah, it all started around Roadblock when she had this supposed injury where she was going to miss time, so they took the belt off her and gave it to Stephanie, and then she came back.
I wanted to talk to you about that really quick, Matt. I'm sorry, really quick. I want to talk to you about that. Do you think her taking that time off, losing the belt, has something to do with her being upset that they took the belt off her and they were saying, listen, take the time off, lose the belt, you're going to the main roster? Do you think there was some kind of the reason why she took off was because she was in a contract negotiation, and something about with her getting the belt taken off her and her going to the main roster? That was the reason why she took off.
You think they wrote her off to negotiate her contract?
I think they wrote her off to probably talk about giving her an option. Listen, you're too much of a big talent to be down in NXT. It is the truth.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe it was she had some personal things that she needed to clear up. It could potentially maybe even be a visa thing.
Maybe a visa thing. It's true too.
Or it could have been just like a lot of times in NXT when they're going to do that call up, they give them time, and that's what it is that she lost the belts to get called up. And by the looks of this thing, like the Raw roster women's division is depleted. Like if you look at this roster of Raw superstars, their women's division isn't that deep, especially with all the injuries.
Well, I'm gonna give you
Then
this.
like you look at the NXT women's NXT roster, but like even on NXT, this roster has Joe Hendry and NXT as a part of the NXT roster. So
See, interesting. Look, let me tell you something. I think that Julia and Roxanne will win the tag team championships before they win individual championships. I think they're aiming towards that. That's what they try to do, because Cara Jade was definitely Roxanne Perez's backup partner, and now that she's gone, they put Julia in the mix, and they're gonna win the tag team championships. That's gonna be their first championship in Raw, well, wherever they go. Hopefully, listen. Hopefully, if the draft does happen, they don't put them in SmackDown. I think they will benefit better on Raw.
Here's what I would do if I'm booking this, right? If I'm booking this, I'm having Bayley go over Lyra at Backlash. I'm having Bayley and Becky feud till Money in the Bank. I'm having Becky lose the belt to Bayley at Money in the Bank. And I'm having Roxanne Perez and Bayley feud up until SummerSlam. And then you have Roxanne Perez take the belt off Bayley at SummerSlam. I don't think Becky needs to hold this belt for long, but it builds momentum. It builds a good feud. Becky and Bayley. Yeah, I just think that maybe it's time for Lyra to go. They need somebody else in the championship picture, the main world title picture, to feud with them. So why not give it to Lyra, who's been carrying the Intercontinental Championship?
Yeah.
Build new stars. Take this time to build new stars, and let Becky and Bayley do that too in the mid card, because you can't have all these women going after this belt. And Maxine Paris.
Sky is going to keep the belt. She'll probably keep the belt up until SummerSlam. And that's until either SummerSlam or
she's dropping it to Stephanie at SummerSlam. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, she's going to drop the belt when Stephanie's
she's dropping it to Stephanie at SummerSlam.
Okay.
Calling it right now. May 8th, 2025.
I'm fine with that.
Calling it. Dropping the belt to Stephanie at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
I got something even better. She's dropping the belt Survivor Series in Julia. I think what's going to happen is that I still think that Julia and Roxanne Perez are going to win tag team gold before they win regular straight out gold. That's the other project. That's the projection of what I see things. That you build them up. They beat Liv and
Rodriguez.
They beat them. They win it, and they'll go on. They go on a little tear with the belts. They win, then eventually they start feuding with each other, because eventually it's going to happen, because you have the prodigy that's all about herself, and Julia. Eventually you want Julia to turn good. You want Julia to turn good eventually, turn face again. So down the road, yes, but they're going to win tag team gold before anything.
Do you all feel Jordynne Grace deserves to face Stephanie Valkyria for the NXT Women's Championship? Feels like it's rushed. Yes, because they want to start pushing Jordynne more. And Jordynne, it's my understanding that when Jordynne signed her NXT contract, she was only signed to NXT for a short amount of time. So they're going to fast track her to build her star to get on the main roster. So I think that her beating, you got the big call, because look how quickly they're calling up Julia and Roxanne Perez. And Roxanne Perez has been a while, but
it's been a while. But
they called up Julia, and how quickly they're calling up Stephanie.
Yeah,
Stephanie there's no loss in fandom for Stephanie and Julia there. You can kind of say there was with Carmelo Hayes, and sometimes these, they do these call-ups and they get lost in the mix, and the fan reaction isn't the same. But Julia, I think the way that the crowd turned out for Julia, the 2 weeks she was on Raw, and Roxanne's showing in the Royal Rumble and at WrestleMania, and now Raw. And
like I said,
Julia.
You see, Jordynne Grace will definitely win the belt, because, like I said, because if they have the draft in the next couple of weeks, you could definitely have. I think Stephanie goes to SmackDown, I think Stephanie goes to SmackDown, and I think Julia stays on Raw.
And that's why, Terry, like, she lost that match to Jordynne Grace because she's going to the main roster. NXT doesn't. Why have her go fight for the NXT championship if she's getting called up, where Jordan's going to stay in NXT, and you let Jordan build more stars while you ride this wave that Julia and Stephanie have right now, and you push them as far as you can go. So I don't feel like it's rushed. It makes sense. Jey Uso making Gunther tap out on his back was crazy. It was, but I think it was good to establish Jey Uso as a credible champion instead of what the internet was labeling Maz as, what we often label Roman Reigns as a dude who's got 3 moves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but go ahead, Sticks.
All right. The next match I've got put in is the Fatal 4-Way match. Fatu versus Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre for the United States Championship.
You know what? Can I go first?
Go ahead.
Solo definitely is getting involved in this match. Solo is definitely going to get involved in the match, and it's going to be where definitely Jacob Fatu gets to the point where he's going to wind up feuding with Solo. Solo is going to interfere. I'm not talking about the fact that that Jacob's going to lose the belt, but if he does lose the belt, I actually think they give the belt to McIntyre. McIntyre wins the belt.
Okay.
You know, because he's been on the outskirts of championship. He won for 5 minutes and he lost at freaking WrestleMania. You know, he had an opportunity, lost. So I think they'll give the U.S. Championship to McIntyre, causing the rift between Jacob Fatu and Solo. So, and I think that LA Knight and Damian Priest are going to start the feud with each other. So, but I give McIntyre the win and Solo interfering for that to happen.
Okay.
I think Jacob Fatu is retaining. I don't think they're taking this belt off this man for a long time. And I think the minute they do, he's instant world title picture. I think he holds the belt for a while. I think there's big things in the works for LA Knight. And I think there's even bigger things in the works for Drew McIntyre down the road, where I don't think putting the U.S. Championship on him makes sense.
Why?
Yeah. All right. I didn't want to do this yet. I was trying to save this for a while.
Why don't you wait then? Wait. Don't,
all right.
Don't do it.
We'll wait. But I think there's big plans down the line for Drew McIntyre that don't involve the U.S. title. And so I think Jacob Fatu is going to retain in this match. I think Solo gets involved, but I think Jacob Fatu is going to retain in this match.
Yep, I'm right there at the same. I got Fatu retaining with Solo getting involved in some way, shape or form to almost lose him the belt, but that's what's gonna put Fatu on his back, because he's gonna either fight with, get upset with Solo after the match, even though he wins, and that's gonna push Solo out, or to something. So yeah, I got Fatu retaining with Solo interference, but it won't affect him.
I actually think Solo's going to freaking goddamn take his thumb and shove it down throat, and that's going to cause the thing. I think they
right down the gullet.
I think they're going to slow build this turn by Solo for as long as they can, and I think you're going to get Solo versus Jacob potentially, maybe SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're really working towards Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns at some point, at maybe Mania or something. But I think that heel turn from Solo is going to be.
I think we've got to get the Tongas. They have to come back at some point.
Well, what's his name? Well, they're both out now. I know they're both out now.
Yeah, they are both out.
What's his name who went out first is coming back. Is not coming back until at least
and there was a couple that they signed, but they haven't.
Late August. Late August, but then what's his name just went out. So I don't know what the injury was with this guy. The other
yeah. I think it was his leg or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So all right. On that one, moving on to the next. I put
Goldberg's coming in this. Goldberg, I told you Goldberg is coming out in this.
I called that, didn't I, Sticks?
Yeah.
Yo, I said that Goldberg, baby, because you think about it. Pat McAfee is gonna get his ass wiped with this dude. Come on, man. One smack, Pat McAfee is gonna freaking lose his teeth.
Yep. So okay.
Unless you're gonna have freaking goddamn Michael Cole come in and do something, but I have a feeling the backup plan is that McAfee has Goldberg in the wings to come out, and I'm not gonna say that McAfee is gonna win because I think they want him to win, but if he does win, it's interference from freaking Goldberg that helps him out to win. But yes, Goldberg is definitely getting involved in this, no matter what. And I don't see Gunther freaking losing again. Gunther lost, he tapped out, and you can't see Gunther freaking goddamn losing to fucking Pat McAfee. Can't see it.
He's got a Goldberg boner. Sticks, you're not getting a word in.
Well, I'm going to ask. I said, now, Matt already told me his opinion. I called this the Michael Cole redemption match. What do you think about that, Don?
The Michael Cole
redemption match. This is.
Do you think that he involved? You know what? Could get involved. Maybe he is part of the thing too, and Goldberg comes out. But Goldberg is in this match, regardless of fact.
I can see not McAfee, but Cole making a call to say I need a backup for him because I don't have
I think that
faith that he can beat Gunther.
I think Gunther beats the shit out of freaking Pat McAfee.
Oh, I think he's gonna knock him from post to post.
They're both lying, and he's like, this is pathetic. But why don't you get hear? Dun, dun, dun. He's coming out. No, Goldberg's coming out. Marco's favorite wrestler of all time. He's coming out.
So here's how I see this match playing out. I think Gunther is going to underestimate Pat McAfee at the start. I think McAfee's going to come out hot. McAfee's going to hit his spots. He's going to come out with good offense, and he's going to catch Gunther and have Gunther reeling. And at some point in the match, it's going to snap. Gunther's going to lock in, and then Gunther's just going to beat the ever-loving piss out of Pat McAfee.
Yes. Post to post. Yeah.
And he's going to enjoy it. And Michael Cole's going to do something.
Going to cry.
Once Pat McAfee is down and out and beaten, Gunther's going to go start and taunt Cole, and we're going to see it replay. He's going to grab Cole. He's going to start to try to choke out Cole again, and that's when we'll hear Goldberg's music.
So what they're going to do is he's going to figure Michael Cole's going to throw in the towel, tell him to stop, please stop. It's going to be like Rocky all over again with Apollo Creed. Yeah.
I can see that too, where Michael Cole throws in the towel and makes him ring the bell to stop. And then Gunther snatches him up and says, "Why are you trying to stop my match?" And he's about to choke out Michael Cole, and that's when Goldberg
comes out. Yeah. And then we're going to set up the SummerSlam or Money in the Bank, friggin' Goldberg versus Gunther.
But caveat, there's a big rumor flying around the dirt sheets that Jeff Cobb is ready to make an appearance, is ready to debut for WWE. What if Jeff Cobb saves Gunther or saves Michael Cole from Gunther instead of Goldberg? If I was a betting man, my money's going to be on Goldberg.
Yeah.
And you're going to have Goldberg and Gunther feud until
SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Because his limited appearances here and there, and then Gunther give Gunther something to do. Yeah, you're right. But you're right about Cobb. You're right about that. I heard about that too. That could possibly be a potential thing. But yeah. So what do you got, Matt? Gunther winning?
Gunther's winning.
Oh yeah.
I don't see Pat McAfee winning this match. I think he's gonna have a good showing. But I think he's gonna get dog walked by the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. Michael Cole, one way or the other, will be calling and throwing in the towel, crying, then getting choked himself, and then somebody's coming out, and most likely Goldberg. So, yep, we got that.
Choked himself for pleasure, for pain, Dom.
Yeah, that's it. Pleasure or pain.
What about you, Sticks?
So I kind of agree that McAfee's going to come out kind of strong, but Gunther's gonna take it to him 6 weeks from Sunday. I hadn't thought about like Cole, like maybe throwing it. Like I hadn't thought about that. That's a good angle right there. But I just don't think Goldberg comes out at this PLE. I just don't. I think something has to go a little bit further, maybe into Saturday night's main event to get him back in, where Gunther has a mic spot, and that's when we get Goldberg to challenge him, maybe at Money in the Bank.
No, because Goldberg's only going to do one match.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be SummerSlam.
it's going to be SummerSlam because
That's what I'm saying.
he's
He's not going to have a match. He won't have a match at Saturday night's main event. The Money in the Bank would be the match.
I know, but you have 2-night event for SummerSlam. The same thing with Survivor Series. It's the first SummerSlam that's going to be 2-night main event, the first time ever. So they need to build these matches up. So SummerSlam is definitely going to be Goldberg versus Gunther. That is the most logical thing from money perspective and for audience view. So you have 2-night SummerSlam. You got to make these. You got to make that. That's not going to be the main event, but there's going to be a lot of good matches in that. Championship matches.
SummerSlam's in what, July?
No, August.
SummerSlam is
4 months. You think you can drag this out for 4 months?
20.
Yeah, they could.
Well, no. SummerSlam's at the beginning of August. It's August 2nd.
But I don't know. Did they move it or no? It's so it'll be August 1st and August 2nd. So a 2
No,
nights.
it's 2nd and 3rd.
Oh,
Saturday,
second and
Sunday.
third. All right, so second. There you go. So it's going to be 2 nights. So you can go through the summer. We're having Gunther go in and out, and freaking Goldberg making some promos and this and that. And other than that, and like you definitely Cobb can come up and help too, McAfee, and then actually, you know what? That can lead into the freaking Goldberg match. That Gunther's like, there's nobody in this roster now that can take me, and you can have Goldberg come out.
I can definitely see him saying that. No one on this roster currently that can take me.
But I think that it's going to be, I don't know. There's been talk too that Gunther wanted some time off, and then that's when they were going to do this whole. That's why they did this whole suspension thing, and then I guess from what I've heard, the McAfee match started gaining traction, and WWE was like, "Oh, we got something here with this." So I could potentially see, like, Gunther destroys McAfee. Goldberg comes out. Goldberg hits Gunther with a spear, hits him with a jackhammer, does the crowd pleasers, and we don't see Gunther
for a couple months.
For a couple months.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then as we get closer to SummerSlam, like there's a Saturday night main event on July 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Goldberg's there, and that's when Gunther comes back. I don't know. I just think we hear all this talk about Goldberg wanting this retirement match, and everyone, I know myself included, thought, well, of course it's going to be Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia, right? Now that they announced Crown Jewel is going to be in Perth, Australia,
not until October.
October.
Is there is there a main reason why it's in Australia and not Saudi Arabia? Maybe
because Saudi Arabia got Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
yes,
that's why.
Rumble.
That's why
they get the Royal Rumble, and Royal Rumble is a 2-night main event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it's
it hasn't been confirmed as a 2-night main event yet.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, speculative.
But because you don't need Goldberg on TV every week. He can make an appearance here or there on Raw. whatever. And
you're not going to get him to go to Australia. So
yeah, like, and you could have him come out and be like, you know, Gunther come back and be like, you caught me off guard, and just have Gunther start pursuing him for that match. And then they build up to SummerSlam. And if they're not going to take away from John Cena's retirement year.
No.
So, you know, are you going to have Goldberg retire at SummerSlam, or you have him wait until after you play the long game and have him wait until after John Cena's done at the end of the year? But it just doesn't seem like Goldberg wants more than just one more match. So why not give him that rub and give it to Gunther, even though Gunther doesn't really need it. But I just think that is a logical choice, that in this match, somebody's going to have to interfere.
Yep.
To save Pat.
Agreed.
Whether it's Jeff Cobb, whether it's Goldberg, I think Goldberg gets the biggest pop. And
Michael Cole.
You can't. I mean, but you can't. Can you really say anything? Because we got, you know, they did a 4-month. Normally, I would agree with you, Sticks. Like 4 months, that's a long build.
That's a long deal. The only other person,
a long build from Royal Rumble to Mania for Jey Uso Gunther. So
yeah,
I don't know.
The only other person I would see interfering in the match would be Jey Uso, because they're him and McAfee are boys.
Yeah, but he's done with Gunther now.
Well, yeah, but you're not going to come out and save your buddy.
I mean, I'd rather see AJ Hawk at that point come in and chop block Gunther, right? Take him out right at the knees, or you know, something. But I don't know.
Yeah,
we've got a. I mean, I don't know. I agree with you though too, that there's a lot of ground and a lot of stuff. Backlash May 10th, and you got Saturday Night Main Event May 24th. You got Money in the Bank in June, beginning of June. Another Saturday Night Main Event at the beginning in the middle of July. Then SummerSlam. So maybe you hold off anything with Goldberg. Like I said, you either got to take Gunther out for a while, or have him pursue Goldberg to get that final match.
Right. Now, with McAfee being out, another thing you could do. Now, this is a spitball right here. The next PLE would be the Saturday Night Main Event, right?
Yeah, it's Saturday night on the May 23rd, 24th.
Yep. What if
24th? It's on the 24th.
What if you have Goldberg on commentary with Michael Cole?
You could have Goldberg. Well, I don't think.
I mean, he's not much of a comment. You know, he'd be there to take McAfee's spot.
Who's next?
You know, I don't know. You need to inject him somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be here, because I think somebody else will be that interfere. But
well, I know McAfee has a soccer tournament in North Carolina that he's going to be preparing for as part of his show. So I wouldn't be surprised if he takes time off of that. And I think it's at the beginning of June. So if he takes time off for the rest of that, you know, till after that, and then comes back. But I think McAfee loses this match. I think he's going to start. He's going to come out looking good, and Gunther's just going to lock in then and you know, lay the wood to him.
It'd have to be a really sufficient interference to get Gunther down for McAfee to pin him.
Okay.
The only other person that would make sense. Oh yeah, that would make sense. Would be like if Ilya Dragunov.
Yes, I was about to say that. But yeah, I think that he's coming back. But they said September. His. But then again, they could be lying about that. But they said September, so I don't know. Yeah.
But that's just where I stand. I definitely think that Gunther is winning this match.
Okay.
Did you get Pete or Double O's picks?
They'll send it to me. They're gonna send it to me. They got it till Saturday.
I don't want them to send. I want to hear them live on the air.
I know. Well, they couldn't be here tonight.
Bastards.
Yeah, I know. Intercontinental Championship match: Dominik Mysterio versus Penta.
listen, I'm the reigning champion. I need to know what my competition has to offer.
All right, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. As much as I don't want to say it, I think Dominik loses because of Finn.
Really?
I think Finn interferes in this match, and Dominik loses the Penta. Because they gave it to Dominik. I think Dominik is going to have a bunch of better things down the road. I think, his stock already went up by winning this belt. Mm-hmm. And if he loses his belt at Backlash, it won't be a big loss because his stock is already high. You have him feud with Finn because Finn is going to make his new freaking Judgment Day, and you're going to have a face turn by Dominik Mysterio. Dominik is going to become a good guy because people are cheering him already. So if he loses the belt, it's only going to make his popularity go up even more. Give Penta the belt for the time being because he's hot right now, and you need to have Dominik start feuding with Finn because he's been boiling, getting to that point. Because guess what? Finn is going to fight AJ Styles.
Yep.
AJ Styles is going to win. AJ Styles winning the match is going to push Finn even more. Well, I think it's Monday night. I think Monday night after. I think it's I don't think he's not fighting in Backlash. He's fighting.
No, they fight him. They fight on Raw on Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night. So I think he's going to lose that match to AJ Styles. But see, that's the thing. It's Monday, so Saturday is the thing. I think Finn interferes, trying to help Dominik, and he loses, and putting the belt on Penta, and then it's going to start to the cracks. Dominik is going to make Finn lose against AJ Styles on Monday night, so it's going to go back and forth. But as much as I don't want to say it, Penta is going to win the Intercontinental Championship.
See, I agree with you, and I want Penta to win, but I think Dirty Dom retains. And I'll tell you why. You're right that there's big stuff on the horizon for Dom, but it isn't Finn Balor. I think it's John Cena. Not Juan Cena, but John Cena.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll explain it more. Well, I'll explain it now. I want to wait till we talk John Cena.
Exactly.
I think Dom retains in this match, and Penta's going to get his shot, and he's going to drop this belt. But I think he drops this belt at SummerSlam. I think he's going to hold the belt till SummerSlam. They didn't just put this belt on Dom for him to drop it.
Yeah, I know. Right? I think the same thing you do. Later. But I'm just thinking the fact is that his popularity is getting bigger now.
Oh, because he's absolutely going for a face turn. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to get there when we get to the John Cena stuff. But I think Dom retains and holds on to the title for a little bit longer on this. As much as I love Penta and I want to see the belt on Penta, I think Penta will get it, but I think it's gonna be a little bit longer before we get the loss of it.
Oh, you know what? You know what can actually keep Dom the belt, interfere with Penta, friggin' El Grande Americano.
Yep, I was gonna say that too. I think
that's what I was gonna say.
You're the new WWE Speed Champion.
Yep, the new Speed Champion.
Yep.
What do you think,
Sticks? So I have Dominik retaining because of El Grande Americano interfering with Penta. So I think our new Speed Champion comes out. Probably, like he did last time, kind of comes out, jumps up while he's trying to get to the top rope, pushes Penta off, and then Dominik hits him with the frog splash and and then retains. So
you know what's funny? People love Dominik Mysterio. They hated him. They booed the shit out of him. He was like the greatest heel ever. That he got the pop bigger than any heel ever in the history of the WWE. And now he comes out. They cheer for him. They cheer for him.
Yeah.
Funny, man.
And I will tell you, because when I saw him at Raw in Atlanta 2 years ago, and people say, "Oh, they're piping it in." There was no piping in that night. That was all the crowd booing it. That was 100% the crowd. So yeah, he's been. I mean, and he's been a good heel. I think he's done a good job as heel. I'm reluctant to see him as a face, but just because he's been a heel so well. But we'll see. All right, we got that one down. Up next.
Listen, if we don't get a Cody Rhodes friggin' sighting at this friggin' fight, John Cena is retaining. Don't wait for hands up. Randy Orton's going to lose, but we are going to get a friggin' Cody Rhodes sighting that's going to actually interfere. That his interference is the reason why friggin' the Viper loses, and that's going to cause the rift between Cody and the Viper. So that's my thing. That's all I have to say.
All right.
I'll be real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm going to stick with what I said a couple weeks ago. Cena's going to lose the belt. Remember what I said? He's going to lose the belt, get the belt back. I'm gonna stick with that scenario. Does Cody come out and help Randy Orton win that belt? Possibly. I don't know. I'm not going to say he does. I'm gonna say Randy is able to get him on his own. But I think Cody will come out. I don't know if he'll interfere in the match or not. I think he's too much of a baby face to interfere in the match that way.
They interfere in the match because he's fighting. Because Cena he lost the belt to Cena. But if he's pissed, he's not thinking straight. He's not thinking straight. He interferes, causes freaking Cena to win the belt because, and that's what Cody Rhodes is going to have. Look, let me tell you something. Right now, you're not going to have Cody Rhodes battling Cena the entire freaking time. You need Cody Rhodes to go off distractions another road.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be fighting Randy Orton. Randy Orton is the last dude that's still supposedly on Cody Rhodes' side. So with Cody Rhodes interfering, trying to make him lose, that's going to cause a rift. And you're going to have Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes SummerSlam. That makes sense. And John Cena's going to be fighting somebody else. John Cena's going to have matches with somebody else. Look, since The Rock messed up the whole goddamn thing.
Yes, he did.
It would have been freaking great if The Rock was still involved in this whole thing, which we're not going to probably see The Rock anymore. And if you do, it's not going to be part of this whole storyline. But yeah, so that's my thing. What I'm saying, Cody tries to help Randy, interferes. Randy loses. Cena retains. Rift between Cody and Randy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Right.
What do you got?
John Cena is retaining the title here. I don't know if Cody Rhodes interferes. I think it's a little soon for Cody Rhodes to come back.
You think so?
Yeah. Especially with the workhorse in it for as long as he has.
Okay.
I mean, he could come back and cost Randy the match and start feuding with Randy. That would make sense.
Yeah.
I could see that. But I think Cena retains here. And since this is the last match here, let's fantasy book the rest of John Cena's year a little bit here.
Okay.
Here's what I'm thinking. You got Backlash this Saturday. He's going to lose. He's going to win and go over and beat Randy Orton. Who I think after Saturday, he comes to SmackDown next Friday and he says something along the lines of, I've taken your best shot. I've beaten your champions. I've beaten Cody Rhodes. I've beaten Randy Orton. You've got nobody for me anymore. So I'm just going to wait out the rest of the year. And, I don't need to wrestle. I'm just going to take this championship and leave. And as he's out there cutting a promo saying that he's the best and nobody compared to him, LA Knight's music hits. LA Knight comes out. LA Knight versus John Cena, Saturday night main event. He beats him. The week after on SmackDown, same thing. What if Dirty Dom comes out? And we get John Cena versus Dominik Mysterio at Money in the Bank. And that will effectively push, you don't have Dominik Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship on the line. You have Finn cost Dom the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank, and that's when the Dom Finn Balor feud starts. Because all of a sudden it gives him more heat. Dom's got the Intercontinental Championship. Now Dom's getting a world title shot against John Cena. That just builds that jealousy aspect of Finn Balor more and more. And you've already got the ultimate heel in John Cena that's going to complete Dominic's babyface turn in a match against losing to John Cena with Finn screwing him over. And then that's when you start the Finn versus Dominic angle. I think that makes sense. Like, I don't know where Cody comes into the rest of this, but I don't see you doing Cody versus John Cena until much later in the year.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. He's at the championship thing. He's just going to try to help and interfere, and this guy's going to retain. And that's the problem. He's going to retain, and that's what's going to cause a rip between him and Randy. That's what you have to have him fight Randy. Get off the championship caliber for the time being, and it would make Randy pissed off because he's going for his 15th. Or his 14th. Was it 14th? 15th, right?
14.
14.
Yeah, he's going for 15.
It's 15, and he loses. That would piss me off, why are you interfering? I was trying to help. Stay out of my business, this and that. This is, shit like that.
Or even, let's change that up. What Money in the Bank, I think it makes more sense to have Punk fight Cena at Money in the Bank. Because then we're going to get the promo of with John Cena saying that he wants to ruin wrestling. He's going to take the title and leave. We're going to get some sort of promo with him and Punk about Punk doing, you're trying to do exactly what you prevented me from doing, what I did by taking the title and leaving. And now you're trying to do the same thing. So we get Punk versus Cena at Money in the Bank. Maybe we get Dom versus Cena at, I think there's another at SummerSlam, or I don't know. Like, I just think that we're going to see Dom versus Cena. We're going to see Punk versus Cena. We're going to see all the biggest hits. I don't see Cody Rhodes coming back to John Cena until maybe Crown Jewel. Maybe even Survivor Series. But ultimately, I'm starting to think that Cena drops the belt at Survivor Series to Cody Rhodes. And that's when The Rock's going to come back. And The Rock's going to be upset that John Cena lost. And he's going to say something along the lines of, it was never about your soul, John. I wanted Cody's soul. And there's been somebody that I've had in mind to be my champion. That's the chosen one. And it wasn't you, John Cena. You failed. And out comes Drew McIntyre. And that's when we know that we find out that Drew McIntyre has been The Rock's champion this entire time. And then then Drew McIntyre takes the belt off Cody at Royal Rumble. And Drew McIntyre holds the belt until WrestleMania. That's just
interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't see Randy Orton winning the title here. But I agree with Dom too that a Cody Randy Orton feud makes sense to carry Randy now that Kevin's gone for who knows how long, to carry a feud with Randy. Moving on. Maybe Travis Scott tries to come out again.
Oh God.
And to help Cena. And Cody comes out to help Randy. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I don't see Randy winning. And I wouldn't be surprised if WWE doesn't do this thing where they're just gonna start having John Cena go on a clear house, just absolutely winning clean on everybody. But I see LA Knight being John Cena's next opponent.
Really?
Yeah, after this fatal 4-way for the US title, he's got to move on. And got to move on to bigger and better things. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's John Cena.
Okay.
Because John Cena only has 24 appearances left.
Yeah, I think so. 24, 25.
And we pretty much guarantee they're not going to waste them on a random Raw or random SmackDown with him wrestling there. So you've got how many pay-per-views left? Let's say you got Saturday Night Main Event. We've got Money in the Bank, Night of Champions, another Saturday Night Main Event, SummerSlam, the Clash in Paris, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series. That right there is 8.
Yep.
Throw in his random Raw, his Raw and SmackDown appearances. So hold on, didn't they give us a list of John Cena's?
He's got 24 more appearances.
And dates?
I think they have the dates, but I think it's 24 more appearances throughout the year.
Let's see. I thought they gave us a big list of everything. Okay. Or May 9th, SmackDown, Backlash, May 10th, Saturday Night Main Event, the 24th, SmackDown the 30th, SmackDown the 6th, SmackDown the 13th, SmackDown the 20th, Clash in Paris the 31st. So that right there is 8. Already 8 confirmed appearances. I don't know. Who do you guys see Cena feuding with the rest of the year?
Let me see.
I've got him hitting on different opponents each time. I don't think it's going to be one guy.
Oh yeah, no rematches.
Guys.
It's going to be different guy every time.
Yeah. So I don't really think his feud will be with Cody, but it'll be his matches will be against different people.
And I don't, like I said, I don't see him revisiting Cody until I
think his last appearance might be might be Perth.
Yo, let me ask you a question. Do you think R-Truth interferes?
R-Truth?
No, I don't think so. I've seen a lot of people
saying he's a Cena guy
because he loves John Cena.
Yeah, he does.
Because they were saying, it'd be funny he interferes and he makes Randy lose by mistake because he interferes because he's a fanboy of John Cena.
What if Travis Scott's music hits and everyone thinks that he's going to come out and it's R-Truth instead?
Yeah.
That would be funny.
But I don't know.
It'd be better than Travis Scott coming out.
Put down that if he comes out in that thing that I got R-Truth coming out just for the sake of coming out because he's always lost anyway. So it's
yeah.
But I still think Cody Rhodes is the main thing that's going to interfere and have John Cena retain the belt and cause Randy Orton to lose it and cause the fight with Cody Rhodes. It makes sense because it will build up all the way up until SummerSlam and probably Survivor Series. We got to see who the people take.
I'm gonna take R-Truth and I'm gonna insert him into my scenario. Wherein John Cena, remember we talked about him inserting himself into Money in the Bank.
Sticks,
right?
There's no way R-Truth is winning the WWE Championship off John Cena. All right.
No. Hear me out. R-Truth happens to be one of the guys in the Money in the Bank match. It comes down to John Cena and R-Truth, and R-Truth lets Cena get the Money in the Bank to go on to fight the champion again.
Cena has a belt. Why did he need Money in the Bank?
In my scenario, he doesn't.
Remember, in Sticks' scenario, Cena loses the belt every other pay-per-view.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, the fact is, I was the original one saying that they should lose and come back and do that, but
Stop trying to ride on Sticks' coattails.
No, hey,
get off my coattails.
It's not the coattails. Go back to rewind the videos. I said lose the belt, get it again, this and that, back and forth. A couple of weeks ago.
Nah, you said that the title belt needs to be defended and lost a lot more often. Yes, that you did say, but Sticks is the originator of John Cena being the drop the belt every other main event.
Flip flopping.
Well, I didn't say John Cena specifically. I just said all wrestlers, like whoever has the championship.
Exactly.
Exactly. But the fact is that, hey, you know what? That could make a lot of sense, but I don't know. I think John Cena's going to hold on the belt until at least SummerSlam.
Yeah.
SummerSlam, and then that's when he loses the belt, and that's when he becomes he starts turning into a good guy again.
Yeah, I think his heel turn starts, or his face turn again starts probably around Survivor Series.
Yeah, because I think Perth is going to be his last thing.
Well, no, because Survivor Series is after Perth. Perth is October 11th. Survivor Series is November 29th.
Okay. So,
and I think they're gonna do a WWE John Cena tribute pay-per-view. I'm expecting in December. Whether it's
it would have to be early in December.
Ruthless Aggression or whatever they're gonna call it. That'll be John Cena's.
So
final.
that would have to be the second or third week of December because we're not going to do one close to Christmas or New Year's.
You don't have the thing for the troops, right? There's no more troops that are out there anymore, so they're not going to have the for the holiday season. They go overseas.
Yeah. So,
but I don't know. But
I think I will say that the card that we've got feels more together than we got for WrestleMania.
You think so?
Yeah.
I really feel like WrestleMania was still up in the air. You know, to where we didn't get we got the Dominik, the four-way last minute, then the tag team match with Becky, very last second being on Saturday, and then Sunday, having to have Becky come in to be that partner. Don't tell me that was a planned thing because I know that wasn't planned. I think that was just happenstance.
What the?
Becky attacking Bayley to be inserted into that match.
No, it was the plan.
That had to have been last minute because they were totally having Bayley with
That's because Becky didn't want to come back until Mania. That's why they're calling her Becky Hogan. She came back and she automatically is forcing herself in the title picture because she didn't want to come back till Mania. So I think they had this heel turn. This Becky Lyra match was going to happen for a long time, but Becky didn't want to come back to Mania till Mania. And so they had Bayley doing the light work, or I should say the heavy.
So you think they set it up so that they can have it that way? So that
absolutely. Okay. It was always supposed to be Bayley, or it's always supposed to be Becky Lynch. But when she didn't want to come back until Mania, they had to pivot, so they put Bayley in that situation, and then that's why they had her take her out. Thankfully, they didn't pull the Jade Cargill 5-month who attacked Bayley situation. Right, he came right out and said, "I did it." But I think they're going to align Becky with Seth and Paul Heyman, and that
absolutely.
And so they're gonna start her. They're starting her heel turn, and they've kind of already started it. And she's gonna beat Lyra, and then she's gonna feud with Bayley, and then we're gonna be off to the races. But I think that's been planned all along. It's always supposed to be. It always was going to be Becky, and they just had to pivot because Becky didn't want to come back till Mania, so they had Bayley toe the line and be the company person until Becky came back.
Okay, fair enough.
Not to discredit your.
No, I think the way you explain it makes sense.
I just think that's. I just go back to going over that Raw roster, the Raw women's roster.
Yeah.
The majority of your superstars for the women are hurt.
Yeah.
Like Asuka. Asuka hurt. Julia's just getting there. Io is the women's champion. Ivy Niles mid-card. She's already kind of been in the picture for that title. Kairi Sane hurt. Kiana James hurt. Liv Morgan gone for a while. That doesn't leave a whole lot of wiggle room. Like you got Roxanne. What are you gonna have? Julia, Roxanne, and Stephanie come right in and mid-card title feud?
No.
It just it makes me question, like, you gave the women this mid-card title, but who's gonna fight it? Because what are you just gonna have a revolving door of the main title of Io, Rhea, Stephanie, Becky, like just gonna have this revolving door of main talent? Like it almost makes sense that they had to pull a bunch of people up.
Yeah. And a few of those girls are bigger than a mid-card title anyway, like Rhea and them. So.
And I think Dakota Kai getting released pretty much put the final nail in the coffin of Damage Control.
Oh, absolutely.
It's funny. We're talking about the Cody Rhodes coming back and all stuff like that for with this match coming up with Cena and Randy. Cultaholic Wrestling is reporting a pitch for Cody Rhodes to return this weekend's Backlash. Kind of funny how people hear the algorithm. That was going to happen. Cody's coming back.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to see it yet, though. I just don't want to see it yet.
But this, this should be an interesting wrestling match. Wrestling pay-per-view. Hopefully it's entertaining. Should be good. I think the match of the figured night is going to be the 4-way with Jacob Fatu, Damian Priest, McIntyre, and LA Knight. I think that's going to be the match of the night.
I think that one's going to be the car crash that you rubberneck to look at.
Yes, that's when you're driving and you're looking and there's traffic on the regular side. Watching.
Yeah.
Table's going to be broken. The announce table's going to be gone. There's going to be friggin' claymores, friggin' goddamn, a whole bunch of things. There's going to be a lot of crazy stuff.
Absolutely.
But that's it. That is Backlash, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I do like a quick pay-per-view. You have some matches less like a little bit 40 minutes, half hour type of thing. Like I said, that match, the 4-way, is going to be the best match out of this thing. But personally, also I think the Dominik and Penta match could be up there too.
I think there's going to be a lot of high flying in that with those two.
I actually think the Becky Lynch match is going to be a generic match, nothing too crazy, and the same thing with Randy Orton and Cena. It's just bringing people back, to people return to some players. That's about it.
Right.
Damn, you just said generic match, huh?
It's kind of a harsh, but
yeah. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say generic. I said a regular match. That's not.
No. You already said generic.
All right, you know what? You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say with that. You know why? Because it's not going to be no high flying shit. We all know that.
Oh yeah, no.
It's all about putting the belt on Becky. That's it.
I think it'll be a hard hitting match. Like, they're both good strikers. I definitely think it'll be a hard hitting, good competitive match. But ultimately, like I said, it makes so much sense for them to put the belt on Becky.
But you know what? Is there a scenario that she keeps the belt, but the feud between Becky and Bayley happened, and that's the next big thing to take her off the belt?
That would be if Lyra, if Becky or if Bayley costs her the belt and
right. That was
Lyra
my scenario.
Retains.
Yeah, that was my scenario.
That could be, and it could be that could happen too. You don't know. That causes a rift with them, and causes them to feud for a little bit, and then you have a 3-way match. SummerSlam. Bayley, Becky, and Violet.
And at some point, they're going to have to stop doing these fatal 4-ways and 3.
Yeah,
and,
I know. But that's the only way. The only way to get other wrestlers involved, because they have to do that.
Well, I mean, I don't want to tell you.
Yeah, they've got. Listen, we got Ross and SmackDown, and NXT, and the internet. The speed internet stuff, so they got plenty of space to have these matches with all these people they have on the roster.
Yeah.
That's why it's got to whittle down to what we get at the PLE. If you keep throwing everyone in the kitchen sink in these PLEs, it's not going to matter what you do in the regular stuff. So.
But that is our match predictions for Backlash this weekend. Let us know in the comment section below what you think. Who do you think wins these matches? Do you think they'd take the belt off Becky? Do you think that Lyra retain or belt off Becky? Give Becky the belt, take the belt off Lyra. Who do you think John Cena's next opponent after Randy Orton's going to be? Let us know. Let's do the conversation, man. Be part of the community, all that goodness.
Yeah.
So you think you think the Penta and Dominik Mysterio is going to be the match of Backlash?
No, I think the 4-way. I think the Jacob Fatu, McIntyre, LA Knight, and
okay, that 4. Okay,
I think that's the match of the night. That is going to be the match that makes the entire pay-per-view. There's going to be carnage all over the damn place. And Damian Priest is going to get his ass whipped. We get LA Knight. I'm telling you, LA Knight and Damian Priest are going to wind up being, they're going to start fighting each other. McIntyre, McIntyre's, in my eyes, McIntyre wins because of Solo. I know it's soon, but I think that's going to be the match of the night. That's going to be the slobber knocker.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that's going to be a good, like I said, it's going to be a good card that we all want to watch. So.
Well, with that announcement, make sure to tune in this Saturday and join us live. If you don't want to watch Backlash alone, you can do it with your friends over here off the mat, as we are going to be doing a Backlash watch party after the success of the WrestleMania watch parties. So come watch Backlash with me, Styx, and Dom, and get our reactions to what's going on in real time. It's going to be a good time. We're going to start at 4 p.m. My time, Pacific time, and 7 p.m. Eastern time. Right when the pay-per-view starts, we're going to go live, and we're going to react to Backlash and everything going on, and then give our final thoughts after that. It's been an interesting week with all the releases. What'd you guys think of quick recap? What'd you guys think of Raw this week?
I actually think Raw was pretty good. Like it was good for what it's worth. Like I said, the best parts happened at the end when Raw went off the air. You know, the Logan Paul thing attacking Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns attacking Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins in the back. So kind of, I think the building. But didn't anybody think it was funny, the friggin' spray tans that friggin' goddamn Heyman had with Braun Breaker? Come on, they're acting like Soul Man. So
I laughed so hard when McAfee said they both look like they just got back from a trip to the sun.
No, but you know what's funny? Did you see KO friggin' tweeted something saying, "Damn, all parts of members get a free tanning session or something." That shit was funny.
Again, I'll tell you the matches that got a pop at my house as me and the family were watching was when Austin Theory's waiting for his opponent to come out, and then Sheamus comes out.
Yeah, came back.
Yeah,
you know, I'm going to tell you this. Paul Heyman is not wrong on what he told Jey Uso. He is not wrong at all. You can't blame him for freaking goddamn turning on Roman for what Roman did. Left him to get dismantled by...
No, not at all.
Solo. Not at all. And that's what... See, that's the thing that bugs me the most. That they're booing Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman's right. He is right.
Nobody likes to hear the truth, Dom. Nobody.
But you know what? No, but the whole thing is that they pissed at Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman friggin' went on the side of CM Punk because of his friend. But the whole thing with Christina, the whole thing with Roman Reigns, 100% right. I would definitely tell Paul Heyman you are 100% right. After losing the belt, no call from you let him friggin' goddamn get caught up with the bloodline when they were friggin' a pack of animals got thrown to a table and not a word from you. You know, all you wanted was your thing back. True. So I think, but that was a pretty cool. That was a good promo there too. That was great. Mm-hmm. You know, and like I said, Roxanne Perez, the Io Sky and Roxanne Perez match, I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it that you know, friggin' Julia coming out. I'm very pleased that Julia is supposedly on the main roster. I like that. I like that move. You know, I hope, like I said, they have the Raw and SmackDown draft, and also NXT's part of that. You know, I think Stephanie Vaquer goes to SmackDown, and that's just, you know, I don't want that. I like her on Raw, but I think SmackDown is definitely the place. You got her. You have Jade Cargill. You have her. You have Naomi. That'll be a stacked ass freaking Bianca Belair. So she would definitely. I don't think she'll get swallowed up by that talent group there. I think that she would make it better. You know, yeah, Raw doesn't have anybody, but I know you're going to disagree with me.
Yeah, I am, because Raw has nobody. And look at here's the SmackDown: Alba Fire, Alexa Bliss, B-Fab, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, Jay Cargill,
freaking goddamn
Michin, Naomi, Nia Jax, Nikki Cross, Piper Niven.
You know what?
Like,
I rephrase that. You're right.
Zelina Vega. Like, look at the just amount of women on SmackDown compared to.
You're right. You know what? I'm gonna rephrase that. But if they do the SmackDown like if they do the draft, a lot of those women can come to Raw.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Sure,
Stephanie
no.
Vaquer can still go to SmackDown. That's the whole thing. But Julia, like I said, I'm very surprised that Julia's call up right away. And I think that was part of the reason why she gave the belt. It takes some time saying you come to the main roster. You know, get your head straight. No more NXT. You know, and again, she hasn't really wrestled that much. You know, when she showed up, she interfered, did some things. She hasn't been really wrestling, but I think if she does have an injury, I think she's still nursing it and doing what she's doing. But her appearances are getting a good pop on Raw. You know, so
all right. Well, that's it for us for this week. Make sure to join us Saturday for the watch party for Backlash and see who comes out of Backlash, the off the mat champion, as Dom rolls his eyes like, man, I'm going to get screwed over again. But Dan, Dom, take us out with some words of wisdom.
All right, man. You know, for everyone saying that Raw is not as good that it could be, I disagree on that. I think Raw is a great product. I think Triple H is doing a great job because, you know, a lot of people are bashing Triple H on a lot of different decisions he's making. But I still think that Raw is the brand. You know, I'll take Raw over SmackDown any day. Yes, SmackDown has a lot of high flyers in that. Raw will always be the number one show in my book. With that being said, if Stephanie does come to Raw and Julie is there, my God, Raw just freaking went up 102.98% even more than what it was, and I would be a happy man. And if a certain someone in Jada Parker does show up, I am never leaving my couch. Never. But okay, aside, should be a fun weekend. Backlash. You know, a couple of good matches, and the words of wisdom is that make sure you watch Wrestling with Friends. And I got my two buddies right here that we're going to be watching this and having a good time. And tune in because this channel is going places, and you want to see it rise. You want to be in from the beginning when it rises, and we will be there.
You want it to rise like Dom watching Stephanie and Jada Parker.
Oh my God, I can't wait. So, everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy. Make sure you're here at 7:00, before 4:00 match time, 7 our time. You have to sit down and have some fun. Grab your popcorn, grab your binoculars. It should be a blast.
And on that note, enjoy Backlash, and we'll see you guys Saturday.
In the ring, the lights go down. Roaring crowd, they scream and shout. Chants echo, shaking the ground. Warriors clash, the game is found.